Welcome everyone to Mechs on Deck. How is everyone doing tonight?
Oh yeah, brother.
It's episode 34.
I'm the cream of the crop. I'm sorry I talked over you.
You're good. I guess you're the cream of the crop now.
I am, dude. I need to get some cream. You want to grab me some cream?
Episode 34. It's
we out here, boys.
we out here. We're getting close. Oh, Frisco Melt. That's dangerous. That's a dangerous thing to say.
Oof.
Um,
Oof. What if like I actually mailed you like a package of creamer? Like those little shot of creamers? Just like, here you go, bud, I got you. You need cream, you know who to call. You got a guy.
Oh, the city at night. Thank you for the tier 1 sub. I appreciate it, my dude. What is up? Bavier, Keeb Ninja, Racing Giraffe, The Sky, 256k, Frisco Melt, Nebulant, Drifting Bunnies. How is everyone doing tonight? Y'all having a good Monday?
Heck yeah, dude.
How was your Monday, Chewy? First day back.
First day back after a 2-week break. No kids, so pretty slow. Just got some stuff ready for the week. So tomorrow, which I'll be streaming tomorrow, I will definitely be way more not okay. Cruise Control TV and Awane, thank you for the subs. Thank you for the subs, man. I actually, so over the weekend, because, you know, I waited until literally the last day, I updated all of the sub badges. So I forgot what colors everything is, but I know that I made them look a little nicer. My
Nice.
minimum contribution.
Hey, it looks good. It looks good. We've got so it looks like the regular sub is just the green one. 3 months is the yellow one. We haven't had a 6 month in here yet, but we'll see.
We've got. I know we have a few 6-monthers. They're just
6
not
monthers.
talking right now.
A lot of
I
those people
think-
have the first little badge too, though. Yeah, see, John's got the first. He's got the founder edition, the FE with that.
He's too special.
How you doing, John? Good to see you.
He's also got VIP stats.
He does. But yeah, before we get going, quick shout out to our sponsors. I got a fancy new button programmed. I can just press that and it makes the sponsors happen. Switchmod.net. You can go to switchmod.net/mechsondeck. Get 4% off lube and everything else he's got over there in stock. He is starting GMK Metaverse V2 later this month. So go check that out at switchmod.net/mechsondeck. Also check out his Discord. He's giving away some sets. So check out his Discord and his announcements and figure out how you can win a set of Metaverse. You're up, Chewy.
Oh, I'm up. Sorry, we haven't done a switch off in a while. I just get
Bringing
I
it
hog
back.
the mic. Zap Cables, man. Zap, he's doing awesome stuff this new year. He's gonna be stocking cables as opposed to doing like custom orders. If you see this as a negative, you shouldn't, because there is not a place to get high end, and when I say Zap, I mean the highest end custom cables that you can point and click and it's at your door in a few days. So be sure to check out Zap Cables. So it looks like those links didn't work. I will work on that Nightbot while you read off the last thing.
The last but not least, we have got Dixie Mech. You can go to mechsondeck.dixiemech.com. He is running GMK Burgundy round 3. One of the few round 3s. I think we've had Carbon, 9009, and now Burgundy.
And Oblivion.
And
I believe
Oblivion,
was round
yeah,
3.
Oblivion round 3 as well.
But those are the only Oblivion and 9009 were the only ones I could think of. I forgot Carbon got around 3.
Yeah, Carbon round 3. But check that out. If you're looking to pick up GMK Burgundy, definitely consider using our affiliate link. It helps us out a little bit. Helps us keep the show up and running. On what is up, Jeff Leopard? How you doing? Also, Brez, we do know that they do not work. Chewy is fixing those. But guess what? I've got other buttons. I can make it happen. Boom. I think the Stream Deck may be maybe one of the coolest stream innovations in a long time. It's like really a very simple thing, but it's so awesome. It's so cool.
We've been talking the last week about upping our stream game, making things look a little nicer, a little crisper, and adding some fun things that, we are very aware that we're just two dudes with glasses and beards talking about nerdy shit and nothing special to look at. I get it. So if we can add a little fun to the stream, make it a little more entertaining. If we have 1,000 subs, I'll set off a firework inside this apartment.
Good Lord. See, the last time I heard someone say that, it was a streamer saying that if he gets 2,000 subs, he'll shave off his eyebrows. He got 2,000 subs in 4 days, so you better calm down, dude. Oh, Racing Giraffe, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate
Thanks, dude. I've met Racing Giraffe IRL.
I haven't, unfortunately. I have
cool,
not
dude.
had the benefit of meeting him.
I have a fun story. So we met at a neutral location, and not to give off too much information, but there was a sports ball event taking place, a very large sports ball event taking place, and I don't think either of us realized it. And when I dropped off the board, it was like in that area during that time, and lots of traffic. Not one of my brightest moves. Cool dude though.
Can't win them all. You can't win them all. So today we are talking about group buy troubles. Chewy and I have experienced quite a few. Chewy's kind of gotten over the hump a little bit with his group buy troubles. There was a while where we both hadn't had anything come in that we had purchased at group buy.
Now I'm getting rid of stuff. Sending things left and right. I was sitting there, I was like, I don't have one of my boards built. So right now at my apartment, I only have 2 boards. Like that I can grab and use. I guess 4 if you count my wife's 2 boards. But yeah, TX60 is out of commission at the moment.
Oof.
It'll be built though. It was a good decision. So it was a conscious effort. But yeah, I was like, oh crap.
This is gonna be like y'all are saying, it's gonna be a little juicy, a little spicy. We definitely, as Nebulant said, we want y'all to add a little extra seasoning. We want to hear your opinions, your thoughts. But before
I like to hear the before.
Before we get into that, I have got a lot of mail that I'm very excited about.
Hell yeah.
So I'm gonna move on over. We're gonna show off some mail time. All right. First up, something that I have been actually. I'll save that for last. That's the hype thing. That's the hype. So today I was at work, and someone walked up to me and handed me this giant box, and I was like, "What is this?" And it was 2 of these from Clavier. Homeboy sent over a big old lube station, which I'm very excited to use, as well as a little macro pad with like the PCB and everything. So I'm going to be building this in the next couple weeks. I'm going to build it on stream. And then he also sent me another one to give away to y'all.
There it is.
So I'm going to give away that as well. Also, I messaged him because I was like, dude, I don't know what to do with this amount of stickers. So I'm going to cuss here because it's worthy, a metric fuckload of stickers. So this is the thickness of stickers that he sent.
Jesus Christ. So
I've got tons of stickers. So if you win, you will get a whole bunch of stickers as well. So So definitely be on the lookout for that. I'll be doing that build stream here in the next couple weeks. But with that being said, I'll move to my next mail day. I'm very excited for this.
Talisman, yes, metric fuckload is a technical term.
I've gotten the Osa. Number 9 has arrived.
Oh, I deleted the app. Oh no, I didn't.
So I've got my Osa finally. Got myself a brass plate. I actually got 2 brass plates, so I'm going to be building one of these next week, next Tuesday at 8 p.m. I will be building mine. I got confirmation that my PCB is coming later this week, so I'm really excited for that. So I'm going to be building this with some Zelio V2s and 78 gram. So I'm excited to use my new lube station from Clavier to lube those up tomorrow while I'm watching Chewy build. And then I'll build this next week.
Boom. I'm excited.
How come my Osa came so much later? So my original one had some issues that Blind Assassin took care of, and then it just took a while to get it all done, and got it over to me. So wasn't a bad thing at all, but it definitely was worth the wait.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been excited because I've been wanting to get his opinion on the OSA, and I'm excited. I also was excited to have some. Now, granted, I wound up switching out switches, but I was excited to try something with other switches that were not actually really just not linears. So really excited to try. Also, Osiris makes some of the best. He lubes some of the best stabs I have ever felt. Therefore, I am very excited.
Thank you. Appreciate that. All right, Chewy, you got some mail?
I mean, I guess I can show it off.
Show them off.
All right, I'll have to go get it. Hold on.
Gosh, not prepared. Not prepared.
Oh, headphones are on backwards. Whoever was like, I bet he's wearing shorts. I'm wearing shorts today.
Ooh, I'm wearing the Yoggers.
Ah,
The
my
Silent
Yoggers
J.
are dirty because I wore them like an unspeakable amount of days in a row.
You know, you were off for a while. You might as well enjoy them.
Live it up. My dogs are trying to kill each other at the moment. How do I open this box?
Just go Chewy on it. Just all cans.
There we go. Started it. Well, got the backup. Should probably close the knife before.
Oh, I see a Howie tail wagon.
Dude, heck yeah, dude. They're going crazy back here. Oh my god.
It's a box inside of a box inside of
This
a box.
is what you call prime content. Use scissors. Riverdex, you are smart like my wife. I just threw this in the thing. Cool. All right. Let's not show the world the receipt. I got some Durox stabs that I almost dumped up. I did dump all over my desk and dropped one piece. And they're clear, so that'll be really hard to find in a minute. But yeah, some Durox stabs. I'm gonna build my T. I got the 7U. That's funny that they didn't get a big enough bag. This is nothing against Prime because they're Ziploc bags. Because I got the 7U, the bag, it literally doesn't fit even at an angle.
That's funny. That's funny.
Like if you do, you'd have to tear the bag open. Hold on. Just enough. But yeah, so I'm excited. I tried them out on I built a board for someone else in our Discord, the Lubricante, and I really liked them. So I'm gonna give them a try. So, but yeah, why don't you take us to the beginning? Where did I get them from? I got them from Prime KB.
PrimeKB.com. They also have the alpaca switches in both the silent and regular variants. We'll head on back to the main screen. All right. Also, Talisman Solutions, thank you for gifting a sub to, I don't know how to say that.
Sizgif 17.
Sizgiv.
Yeah, let's get spicy.
Sizzy. I don't know how to say that. All right, let's get spicy, like you just said.
Well, we'll ease into the spice. So let's start off. So a lot of boards have happened recently, and a lot of boards. There are a lot of boards that go smoothly. Things happen; they're great. I don't want people to think that the situation that we are in with the state of group buys is bad. I would say over 90% of them go off without a hitch. I will say delays happen. Delays will happen. Give it a few months. If they say they've got a 3-month lead time, expect 6 months. Once it starts getting past that, then you can start getting skeptical. Then you can start getting upset. I mean, you can get upset whatever you want, but I would just say, give it some time. But unfortunately, they don't always go as planned. So I'd say we ease into this with the M0110.
Yeah, so this is an interesting one because this is kind of something that happened right when both of us really started getting into the hobby, into a point where we were like prepared to take that next step in terms of getting a board that was a little bit more expensive, something that was a little bit nicer, a little bit more high end. And it was a board that had initially gone, and let me look it up. It initially gone into group buy. What was that, back in
late June, July of last year, 2018? Sorry, last year was 2019. Still getting over that. So it has been 18 months since group buy.
Well, let's go through what it is.
Yeah.
So it's a HHKB style board. It's in kind of a not a direct copy, but pretty almost of the M0110 from Apple, I believe is what it. It's a 1984 Macintosh board. It's a direct representation of that done by Yang Lad, who's a good friend of the show. He's been on before, and it was run through Desk Candy, which is a vendor that we haven't really seen very much of. Wasn't the biggest vendor in the world, wasn't the biggest vendor in the world.
Yeah, I mean they had like the XD60.
Mm-hmm.
They did what was this? The Alps throwback. I mean, you can get some Kale Pro purples, but they have in stock Matthias switches. Okay.
Yeah. Didn't
know that. But it looks like they're trying to focus on some Alps style items. But the modern M0110 was kind of supposed to be their first dive into keyboards. So the original group buy was in July of 2018 with an expected shipping date of November of 2018. What appealed to me was 7 pounds not raw, but 7 pounds of aluminum. There's no weight. It's just a chunk of a board, a chonk, if you will. Had a very nice theme to it. It was going to be serialized and engraved, and the biggest selling point, I guess a few, you could Cerakote it, or one of the bigger selling points was it was made in the USA. And so that was, what's the promise there? Oh, well, communication's a lot easier with the manufacturers. The manufacturer was supposedly supposed to be close, so lots of hands-on, which from a customer, that sounds great. You've hit all the marks. You go, okay, fast turnaround, you've got good communication with the menu, let's hope that this works. And so, unfortunately, we got to early November and nothing was really even said.
Yeah, I remember.
And then
I remember looking at it, and I think this was a board that had a lot of. I would say it had a pretty decent amount of hype going into it. You know, they sent a prototype of the board to Man of Interest. Huey made a video on it, and it looked great. He had good things to say about it. I don't remember if they sent one to Nathan. I don't think Nathan was really.
He wasn't even. I mean, he wasn't. He was. I mean, if
he was like just started.
He had just started streaming, like 2 months after the M01. I believe. Yeah, I don't think he got one because it was 2 months after, and they did stuff. They sent out that unit before the group buy.
Yeah.
So just it had all the hype in the world behind it. Sold a fair number of units. I want to say they sold just north of 100,
which at that time was a significant.
It's huge, and still hasn't been delivered. If you haven't figured that out yet, we lots of months of not updating. So I'll go through kind of the mistakes he made. Not that we are expert group buy runners, but we can, just from observing outside looking in, we can go through some of the mistakes he made. He has recently been updating. There are pictures. There's proof of boards. He is redoing he's trying to redo the gray anodization. Group buy did not just arrive, Gab A. But it is, he's showing a lot more now than he did like all of 2019.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but biggest thing to take away from is communication. Just hands down.
Yeah. Okay, so it was a little bit upsetting as someone who I didn't even get in on the buy. Chewy got in on this. He's obviously still in it. Still waiting for it. One day he'll get it. So one of the mistakes that he made was the group buy was not updated until the week of like initial shipment. Like he didn't say, okay, hey, we're delayed. It's going to be later. He said, we're talking about the M0110 IME or you. It is basically, he sent out an email on November 19th saying that they were 3 months behind when they were supposed to ship that upcoming week. So it's one of those things, if you know you're that far behind, you knew at some point before that, like, come out and say something. Just like if you come out and say something, people aren't going to be as upset.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, and it really, it doesn't. I understand that things happen, and I understand how anxiety works. I understand that world. This is something that I do deal with. We could talk about that on another stream. But anxiety is a huge thing, and it can cripple people, and I get that. But even a weekly you have thousands and thousands of dollars, hundreds of people's dollars. Just letting them know you haven't run away with your money is critical, extremely critical. And so I've talked to many group buy runners. I've run a private group buy myself. By no means does that make me an expert, but try and update. Or set your expectations. One thing that this is something that I did personally. Is I told everybody, listen, there's not going to be an update for 6 weeks. I'm going to let this happen, and when I hear something, I'll let you know. But don't expect anything for at least 6 weeks. And everyone was like, okay. That's all it took.
Yeah.
And I never got bothered by it. So if you know there's not going to be an update for a little bit, just say, hey, there's not going to be an update. I'm waiting. I'm in the waiting process just like you are. And unfortunately, he made the mistake, he said he was going to fix it, and then he made it again.
Yeah. And I think another thing that kind of played into these continual delays and these continual issues was that everything on this board is done at a different place. So it's manufactured, it's cut somewhere, it's anodized somewhere else, it's Cerakoted somewhere else, it's engraved somewhere else. So you've got all these different factories, all these different places in play that you're having to communicate with, you're having to coordinate, and this isn't his full-time job. This is a side thing for him. And so he's trying to do all this, and then because of this, he's tapping the screws himself, which I know in his last update, he says that it takes him almost
hour and a half for one board.
Almost 2 hours for one board to get all tapped in. So it's like, that's not something that's we're as familiar with. Whereas, like, for instance, the OSA and the Baka were all pretty much done in the same. It was all done in one spot, shipped over. It was ready to go. Obviously the boards that were being Cerakoted, those went to wherever they're getting painted or Cerakoted or powder coated. I think that was a big. I think if he could go back, he wouldn't do it this way. I think he would try to consolidate those things.
Yeah, and he's done a good job. What I will say is he has done a good job in trying to make sure it is as accurate and close to what he had promised. He's spending a lot of time fixing his mistakes. That's something that, honestly, unfortunately, we just don't see that much of, is people genuinely fixing their mistakes. So the effort's there, and I see it. I've talked openly about selling this board just because it is an HHKB. I'm not quite sure how willing I am to hold on to it, but I do want it because I want that, like, euphoric, like, the nightmare is over. Like, I want that. I want to open it up, and I'm gonna seal it the second it comes in. We'll push every other build back. I'm gonna build it too. But yeah, and it's, people are talking new group buy small. Keep a group buy small. 20 people will get upset. Oh, you only had 20 units. It's better to have 20 units and then be able to get something later, knowing you're going to get a good product, than doing a huge group buy and this happen.
Yeah. And quick shout out. Thank you, Jeremy57, for the tier 1 sub. Really appreciate it, my dude. Another thing, I'm reading a little post from a couple weeks ago, is that I didn't know this. The prototype that was sent out to TopClack, to Huey, was done in China. It wasn't done in America. I didn't even know that. So that's interesting. So, like,
I would not get a proto done by if you get a proto and say this is the final proto, do it at the factory that you had it done at.
Yeah, that, to me, that's a prototype is also kind of a proof of concept and proof that your manufacturer can get it done. Things change vastly between manufacturers, between the CNC company that you're using, so it's always good to get it done at the place that you're going to run the buy. But yeah, so it's updating.
Yeah,
hopefully
it's updating. It's there. I'm seeing communication. I'm getting personal email, not personal, but I'm in the group email, the whatever newsletter email of the group buy. I don't feel like I've been scammed. So, there's 3 levels. There's, I guess, you're happy with the group buy, you're unhappy with the group buy based on X, Y, or Z, or you feel like you get scammed. I don't feel like I get scammed. If the board turns out, I think it'll be a solid board. Thank you, Nebula. So, but yeah, things to fix. If you want to look at this, open communication as much as possible. I understand, like, I guess this is a 2-parter. One, like Osiris said, try and get everything done at the same place. At minimum, the case should be 90% complete in the same place. If you want to do plates at a different one, that's fine, but also part of this prototyping, make sure the prototype is done in the same place, like Osiris says, proof of concept, as well as maybe, I get it. I get USA. I want stuff made in USA. Maybe we're not there yet.
Maybe not. My thing is when you think about it, USA stuff, for the type of work that we need, a lot of the shops they don't understand the community. They don't understand the power of the community. They just are like, it's not worth it for us. We'd rather spend our time waiting for a big contract. And it's one of those things. USA manufacturing is really expensive too. So is it worth it? Probably not. Like,
yeah.
You can get great boards from China. You can get great boards overseas. You don't necessarily need to. Like Brez says, not worth the busy shop's time.
So next up, well, hold on. So we were at like a jalapeno. Like, that's just like base. That was some basic flaming. That was some like, get your crap together and try again. Like, do better next time.
Are we going linearly? Are we going linear? Like,
yeah, let's go linear, because I feel like I have more spicy things to say about the last one that we're going to talk about.
Okay. I feel like that's what a lot of people are here for, these next 2.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I should go get some hot sauce for this, for the last one.
So up next, we have the Lumina. It's a board that we are both in. Here, let me link this group by. You want to talk about board that was hyped? This board was, at the time, it came out, what was that, late summer, early fall? Like, I think August.
I think it was August, September time.
August of 2018.
Nebula says August 14th.
It was very hyped. There were prototypes sent out. This one was sent to Top Clack again, and then as well as it did go to Nathan Kim. Teslatron even was on Top Clack talking about the board, talking about the design of it, talking about what he wanted to do. This is a board that, when you look at it as for what is happening this past year, right? Look at the Sirius that used a new material for the case, in terms of using Palm. This was using Corian, which is, a lot of people are probably more familiar with it than they think they are. It's in a lot of countertops. A lot of places have Corian countertops. It's a great alternative to granite. But it was a lot of options. There were tons of things you could choose on this board. They had a brass option, an aluminum base option, and a just acrylic bottom option.
Yep, lots of different colors of aluminum as well. It kind of piggybacked on the Olivia hype some, with the rose gold option. I still have a picture saved of the render of the kind of Olivia style keyboard layout. But yeah, it was going to be hefty. The brass, the entire brass bottom was just, at the time, and even now, I mean, brass is starting to become more of a staple than it is a luxury. But it's, you know, it's all big chunks of brass plate, everything you could have wanted in this board. It sounded good based off of typing videos. And then at first it was all right. The updates were kind of there. They were trickling in, and then it was pretty much radio silent. So August was the initial group buy, September into September. Supposed to deliver in November. I was very skeptical about that, but I think he initially said go to January, February. So he was like, we are seeing some delays, expect January, February. And then unfortunately it was not until around March, I believe, that we got an update about the funds from PayPal being frozen.
Yeah. So, and I feel like that sounds a lot, not that it doesn't, not that it's bad. It is bad, but it sounds a lot worse than it is. It happens a lot more than you would think that it would. Basically what happens is PayPal sees a whole bunch of money and it influx into an account. And so we'll talk a little bit about what Nebulant is talking about. The group buy was supposed to end at the end of August.
Yep.
And it didn't. It just didn't. It stayed
open.
The
website was just up.
It was just up. I was able to order mine in October. I ordered mine at the end of October. And because I remember I did it I think it was at your place when I purchased it, your old apartment.
Yeah.
And I purchased it and I emailed him and said, hey, I just went through for one. Is this going to be made? And I got an email back saying, yep, you're good to go. We're taking the last few because I have more product available.
Oh, Geo with the big sub donations. Thank you, man. Drifting Bunnies, a brother undercover. That's an awesome name. T-Zark, Gondo Lynch. I like how two of our mods got.
Yeah, two of our mods got gifted subs.
Two mods got gifted subs. Thank you. So, yeah.
But no, it was very.
It really only got worse from there. So basically, he comes out and he says, "Listen, you know, I've got the funds are tied up. I'm working on it. The first order, he got the acrylic plates in. He got a lot of stuff. He got some stuff in, and that got a lot of people hyped again. He was getting some materials in and was excited about it. And so he another 5. Thank you very, very much, Geo. The new 5 people, the new 10 people, welcome to the club. Definitely appreciate it. And so he started giving updates, and they were pretty persistent. Some people in the community voiced their opinions, voiced their concerns with the group buy. If you know, I am obviously very much sugarcoating how I'm saying this, but there are people that were very upset with how he was operating, and he was unable to. He came out and he fessed up and he talked to everybody, and he owned up to it. But a lot of people were kind of like, all right, well, put your money where your mouth is. You know, the best thing as a group buy runner you can do is, if someone's mad at you, prove them wrong. Give them what they want. And yeah, he had some persistent updates, and then they slowed down, and then they basically came to a grinding halt. There were issues with the manufacturer. That is, the current update is that the manufacturer has basically ghosted him. This is not the first time we've seen a manufacturer up and run with someone's money and boards. While we hope that is not the case, that could very well likely, which would drag this out a lot longer. But unfortunately, it just he made a lot of I think he talked almost a little too much. I think he was trying to get people hyped. He was trying to get people assured, when in reality, a big mistake he was making was giving out information that, while he may thought was true, was not accurate, and that comes at the cost of basically getting caught. So
yeah. I mean, and if you were in the community when it happened, there was a night where a big Reddit post that came out and kind of like it was like an expose piece on the designer Teslatron, just showing all the different things that he had been doing that weren't delivered, different things that he had promised to people in the community that he had not followed through with. So it's been very upsetting to have all of this get put out. And I also that Nebula, but what is up, Myknos? I think that while I do agree that it's a very sketchy deal, it's upsetting to know that I put $300 and something, almost $400 into this, and there's a good chance that I will never get this board.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, Nebula, that sucks, man. I think
it's a sore subject because
it is, but I also take a little bit of responsibility for it in terms of when you look at this. If you are someone, especially like all these people that are brand new to this community are so lucky, right?
Yes.
Because we've got most of the boards that are coming out, most of the boards that are run through a vendor, they're run through someone who's reputable. We're not seeing as many of those like, hey, I'm just a dude, come buy my board. There are occasional ones, but those are really low runs, like Drifting Bunnies Austin, really low run. Not a ton of them out there. He's been in the community for a while. He's done well for the community, and he's obviously making it happen. He put a lot of work in on the front end. Whereas back then, I feel like with the M0110 and the Lumina, we were at a point where people were just putting up whatever they can, like, oh, I can do this 200, 300 board by myself. I'm a kid in college. Like, think about it. Teslatron is a kid in college trying to do all this while going to school. So that's why I take a little bit of responsibility. If like I would have looked into it further and looked into who the person was and not been as trusting with the money, then I don't know if I necessarily would have gotten in on that.
In hindsight's always 20/20.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think definitely the purpose and what we want to come across is I know neither of us, we don't hate Telestron. There's nothing, what he is. I'm sure there are legitimate issues, but he screwed up. He did screw up. Personally, I will never buy anything else from him. That is a personal decision based on what's happened. You've lost my trust, but there are things that we can learn from this, and things that everyone should learn with it is, go into group buys. If you're spending this kind of money, go into group buys. You want to figure out what they've done in the community. Have they done personal group buys before? Have they done, were they in on some group buys? How is this just some dude that bought an AND Pro and then saw that there was money to be made? Do your research. We talk a lot about make sure you do your research, do the work, and don't be afraid to ask. Say, hey, is this person a reputable source? Can he get the job done? I think both of us would have probably backed out and been like, no, now that I know what I know now, it sucks. It sucks. It stings a lot. But Hopefully we get something.
Hopefully we get something. I think
at this point I'll take a tofu.
there is effort there. I think. I don't know Teslatron personally. I've talked to him a couple times. He has designed other things in the community that have shipped. He is a fantastic designer, as people in chat have said. I think it's a young guy who kind of got in over his head. One thing led to another. It's like how people get into credit card debt, right? Like you open up a credit card, you max it out, open up another credit card to pay off that credit card, and then now you're like in debt an insane amount. It's just he did that with a whole bunch of other people's money. And yeah, I think the JO1 and the VIA were two boards that he did, and those are great boards. The JO1 is a really unique layout. The VIA was a very small run by. It took a while, but it got there. He's done some really, really good stuff in the community. I think if he were to come back and do more in the community, I think it would need to be on a design only standpoint, and I think that it will kind of pull through for certain things.
Mm-hmm. So I turned my mic down some because I realized that an issue I had months and months ago popped back up that I fixed. So if you cannot hear me, just let me know. So I want to go back because that's, like what sucks is, I guess, end of the day, do your research and be weary about open group buys for first-time runners. And again, he could have fixed this by communicating. Everyone should have known about the PayPal thing immediately. We've seen that happen. The PayPal just recently happened, where a PayPal freeze happened. People got really upset, but guess what? Immediately fixed. Well, maybe not immediately, at least immediately acknowledged, and it was brought to attention. And while people may still have been upset with that board, they did it correctly, and that, hey, this happened, and I'm sorry. So
yeah, it was tended to. That's the thing is I feel like with this community, we have a lot of leeway with the way that we see things and we see people. Like, if you just talk to us, if you just talk to the people that are nearby and you just say, hey, this is what's happening, this is the transparency that I'm putting out, they're going to say, hey, it's okay. Like, for the most part, people are going to understand that things happen, right? Like, just how we were talking earlier about USA manufacturers not seeing us as worth it in terms of manufacturing for us. Our community understands that. Our community understands that things take time. Things happen, like we're about to enter a time where Chinese New Year's coming up, right? Everything that's supposed to ship, if it gets delayed a little bit, it's gonna be delayed even further.
But I want to go back and answer a question asked by Brez1623. Says, a question for you guys: should a Keeb influencer, and I picked this question, by the way, because this is going to be a great segue into probably the spiciest of them. Well, maybe they're both pretty spicy. But should Keeb influencers be more careful about boards they feature and hype, especially those from newer designers, vendors, or shops? It seems like a lot of these failed group buys were hyped a lot despite the unknown. I think that content creators should be able to support whatever they would feel like. And I know saying that as a content creator may sound unapologetic, but the real thing is, if they're not giving what they should go is, this is a great board. The board that I have in front of me is great. They shouldn't, if it's a new person, they should make sure to do their research and give all the information out. You go, hey, this board's great. It's also a first-time group buy runner, so maybe, be wary. It is the responsibility to try and give as much information as you can to put forth your input. There are definitely a lot of people in this community that can influence boards that are talked about and hyped up. I mean, there's literally a weekly show on Top Black where they talk about boards, and if both of them like it and really, really like it, that's probably going to be one of the more successful group buys. Nathan Kim, another great example of if he says he likes something, probably going to go on. Nathan Kim even said before he got exploded into where he is today, he even said that he liked the Lumina. So I think, but as a viewer, you also have to be able to make your own decision.
Yeah. Well, because the other thing is if you look at these two situations, you can't fault Top Black to Huey or Nathan for the issues because they can only see what they get, right? So like, for instance, John from Zap Cables sent us a bumper. I spent a lot of time with it. I really enjoyed it. I loved it. Now, obviously, I know John's going to make it awesome. But there could be so much that happens between me getting that prototype and the actual board coming out that changes that board, that makes it something completely different. So it's not necessarily on the content creator. Like Chewy said, you definitely want to say, hey, you may maybe you can be positive about, hey, this is this guy's first board. It's a great first option. But it's one of those things you have to do your own research. You have to make sure that for you as a consumer, that designer or runner of that buy checks your boxes. Checks the things that you need out of a buy in order for you to purchase for it.
And I think, Mr. Petrov is bringing up some really good points. Chat's fire today, by the way.
Dude, chat is fire. We appreciate it. Thank you, chat.
Content creators, one, we have never been paid to promote things. We have never been paid to promote a specific product and going, you should say this is good. Right. We have been paid to promote things by our sponsors. That's what that cooperation is. But we have never been handed something to say, you need to say good things about this and I'm going to give you money.
Yeah, even the bumper was John sending that to us saying, I want y'all's opinion of this. I want y'all to look at it and see what you say as people in this community so that you can help me better this board.
So yeah, it's I would feel very weary about a and you have to announce if you're getting paid to review something, like that's a legal matter of like making sure without outright say. But once again, and what we'll tell people is if you want us to build one of your boards, if it's bad, we're going to tear it apart. We're going to say it's bad. Luckily, there are a lot of the people that are here, a lot of the people that want to give us boards are probably doing a good job. They're probably doing something. The bumper, once again, the bumpers, it was a great board. It was we were both very excited to get it, and it was just a great build. I mean, it's a tray mount, so it's not like the build's really anything special, but it was a fun board to use for a while. But Zap said, you're not going to get better without critique. I have asked a lot of people about the Baka. I want critique. I want you to tell me what I did wrong because I don't want to make the same mistake twice. So
yeah. And then Brez is talking about how if you're new, it's hard to find info. Look at their Geek Hack history. You can click their name and it shows you everything that they've commented on, everything that they've said. You can really pick up a lot from that. You can pick up a lot from who they are.
I think next week we might have to update you're a newcomer, this is what you should do episode. Because that there is, we're going to have to do that frequently because the community is constantly changing. There are lots of topics that need to be covered. Key Cult's now a thing, and KBD fans has kind of upped their game some, and there's a lot of things that I think we could give our 2 cents into. But moving on, let's talk about the Xeno, because that has been quick history. Zeal, there's a lot of Z's, even though there's no Z's. So Zeal released the Zephyr. The Zephyr is a 65% board. It was very high quality. It was very expensive. I would say 90% of 90% of people that got the Zephyr really enjoyed it. I would say 99%. If I'm the 1% that didn't enjoy the Zephyr, that's because of different. If they didn't like it, it's probably not because of a quality issue or something. So when this is kind of the opposite end of the spectrum. Is what we've seen is we've now seen someone do a successful group buy, do a round 2 of a successful group buy. And yes, so there were issues with round 2, but it was not as not as rough of a situation as now. For those who don't know, the Xena was a group buy that ran this time last year. The big hype around it, one, it was a Zeal board. A lot of people loved the Zephyr. And two, one thing that I almost got in on this board was because of the fact that he had stated, I have already started manufacturing these boards to expedite the shipping. And shipping was originally aimed for an April to start getting them out in waves.
Yeah, this board had big players in it, right? Like designed by Poner, Wilba PCB, unique 75%, a little bit different than what we've seen before. It kind of checked a lot of people's boxes. It was really pretty. It's not my cup of tea in the way the layout is. I love 75%. I just don't like that top row personally. That F row for me is not my cup of tea. But I can understand why people really wanted it. It offered some cool things. It offered a rose gold PVD option for the plate and then for the weight as well. It promised this great unboxing experience. It was available where you could purchase it with switches at a discounted price for significantly less than what they normally would be. Like, for instance, you could get 85 Zelios, Xylants, Telios, or Helios for only $60, or $70 for Xylant V2s or Helios. And it was pitched to be a very premium board. It put a lot out for the aesthetic on it. It also came with, I'm just rereading it. I'm like, it also comes with Zeal stabs, which a full set of Zeal stabs is pretty expensive. You're looking at 35, 50 bucks. Right there. So definitely meant to be a high premium product for the community.
Yeah, and so issues started popping up relatively quick. I think first and foremost, the mistake of trying to do a quick turnaround. Like, honestly, just help. It always baffles me. Just tell people an extra month. Give yourself an extra. If the factory tells you this time, understand, hey, maybe it'll get stuck in Shenzhen, China for 12 days. Because guess what? That happens a lot.
And just scanned every day at 7:58
just scanned
p.m.
every day repeatedly. It happened with my board. It happened with the bumper. It happened with Keycolt. I'm sure the bumper, the Keycolts, and the bucket were all just sitting in a corner getting scanned every day. Like, you don't know. You can't control everything. Give yourself some buffer. It's not, if you tell people, hey, it's probably going to be like June. If you're running a group buy in January and you just go, hey, it's going to be June, you look like a god if it shows up in April. and if it shows up and a good product shows up in April and you ship it out in May, oof,
Yeah.
exactly. Under promise, over deliver. So didn't exactly happen, as most of you know. Um, there were delays. There was a big problem with the rose gold PVD not being up to standard, and boards that were being shipped out that had questionable questionable quality control, um, and unfortunately fell pretty flat. So I think this is a board that was very underwhelming. It had a very overwhelmingly positive response with a very underwhelming and disappointing delivery.
Yeah, and when when they first started shipping, we had one of the few that shipped out in the very first batch. Um and it had a significant amount of issues. It had a lot of the machining marks on the weight that you see in the pictures now. It had those. It had issues on the inside where one of the screws was basically stripped into, like it was basically locked into the board. Um, and then it also had machining marks just all over the inside. Like every screw hole was like anodized, the ano was just stripped around the hole. Like it was just completely just gross. Like, um, which for a $500 board is really not acceptable. I know it's on the inside. Not everyone's going to see it, but come on, man. You know,
Yeah, if you are, that's the kicker here, is this board was shipped probably over $600. Especially if you got switches, I'm pretty sure it was over $600. So, you're looking at this going, if I'm spending $600, which back then, by the way, key cult wasn't a thing. So this was like premium of the premium. Um, you're spending $600 to basically go, I'm going to buy the nicest keyboard that anyone can get. And start late said, okay, Keycold was a thing, but they had not really rose to the prominence that they had. Um, Especially that they have now and the price thing. So, um, when you're expecting, and then at that point, Keycolt and Xeno, yeah, hand in hand, some of the nicest 75% board. And I haven't seen any picture that's shown me that it's okay, so 560 still $560. There are boards that are $300, so almost $300 cheaper, that are going out that are significantly better QC'd, and they're just, those things are infinitely better in the opinion of, okay, it might not have every single fancy feature that this board had, but it looks like someone took care of it.
yeah, and I think it's very frustrating too for the people who are in it because they were told that the continual delays, the wait, was all due to QC, was due to wanting to make sure the boards were good. And then we get here and we see things like Huey's stream, Man of Interest stream the other day, where it comes out and the black is two different colors, or the Imgur thread that was pictures of a blue one where the blue is two different colors, machining marks and the Poner logo and the weight. It's not unheard of for those machining marks to be gone. You can do a circle like that and not have that issue. Um, it. I just can't believe that they put that out like that.
It's unfortunate. It
Yeah.
really is. It's disappointing. If this was I would say there's some leeway if this is a $300 board, a $350 board. I have a TX60 that has, in one spot, it has that mark off of the screw hole on the inside, and I was like, man, it's a little disappointing, but it's the inside. I get it. These are mass produced. This was a refinished board. So like already, it's not going to be, I'm not expecting absolute perfection out of my TX60. When you're buying the Xeno, you're expecting absolute perfection. And anything is going to be, highly magnified. But when you when you add all that up, oof,
Yeah. Oh,
it just
absolutely. And I agree with chat. They're talking about the PVD. I think we're seeing as a community that PVD is kind of something that's extremely hard to do. It's hard to get right. Um and yeah, it's just maybe stop with PVD.
Mhm.
Maybe
Or make it an option where you go, listen, you can get this, but no refunds. And if it's jacked up, I'm sorry. Like, or you kind of get what you get. Just be upfront. There are people, because guess what? If someone goes, hey, I want a PVD brass plate, and you go, okay, well, you're gonna kind of get what you get. Like, I'm gonna do my best to make it as good as possible, but you're gonna get what you get. You might lose some people. There are definitely people that are gonna be like, fuck it, I'm taking the risk. Like,
yeah.
there's some people that want that PVD. So I understand that, like, crap kind of happens. Like, but PVD is tough. It's tough. I mean, it's hard to keep a non PVD like perfectly clean and nice and fingerprint free. And then when you get that, it's tough. So,
So this is an
but
interesting take from Talisman Solutions. Not well. It's I agree with it. He says his personal takeaway is that it demonstrates the superiority of RamaWorks and his processed centricity. Rama ensured that he had full regiment of QC processes in place before he offered anything for sale. People don't remember that. For a while, Zeal and Rama boards were neck and neck in the public perception of a ultra high quality maker. I do agree with that for the most part, except for the fact that there were issues with the M65A, like significant issues.
mhm.
So I do agree with that now, like if you're looking at it now, but I think Rama took the M65A, was like, hey, we had some issues with this. Let's figure it out. And then he
Yeah,
waited for a long time before he did the M60. So
the correct amount of time, which was enough for people to start forgetting
yeah,
that there were issues. And that's why Ram that's why Rama is M65A. It was
it was key clack, but it was
the
it
issues.
was
It falls on Rama.
partnership. Yeah,
It falls on Rama. That's what sucks is it's known as the Rama M65A. It's not
yeah,
known as the Keyclack M65A. So unfortunately, you know, end of the day, I don't foresee Zeal anytime soon releasing another board. If he does, I don't. It will probably be in a much smaller quantity. But hopefully, hopefully something happens. I know another thing there. He kind of went radio silent for a while. He's releasing other things, but when you once again when you promise something perfect and it's not only not perfect but far from perfect, you're going to get a lot of
yeah, yeah, absolutely.
so.
Hopefully,
Someone mentioned Wood Keys, by the way. I don't know the full details, but I do know that he just like straight up dipped from the community. Um, don't be that guy.
yeah,
Just don't be I mean, that is illegal, and he'll get what's coming to him.
yeah. I think they're talking about the Southpaw. We've seen some people talk about the Southpaw full size. Yeah, that's an interesting one. I'm neither of us are in that, so we're not super well versed on that. It's not one we've spent a lot of time. I know Brian from Top Clack was in on that. Um,
Yeah,
or
I've
Quickums.
got some good friends that are in on it that very upset, rightfully so. If you're sending emails and shooting threats. By the way, shout out to Make Nova. Homeboy, like this past 4 days, got my Nano up and running, and I bothered him like every day, 10 times a day. So big shout out to Make Nova. Dude, at Makenova and give him just crap tons of emojis, please.
They're called emotes, dude. Welcome to
Emotes,
Twitch.
emojis, dude. I don't. Whatever. I'm gonna send some right now, man. I don't. Everything's an emoji. All right.
No, I think group buys are gonna have issues. It's how they're handled by the runner. It's how they come back from it. I think Tasman did bring up a good point about not doing a collaboration anymore. Isn't the original Hyperfuse is still not shipped. I think it's like F8 is still an issue.
couple.
But no, I think I think what we see now with the hobby exploding a little bit. I think what we see is bigger vendors come out, things like Rama, Keycult, things like TGR. They understand where they should sit in a manufacturing level and what they can handle. And they stay with that, right? Like obviously Rama does open buys, but they're not like their group buys. They don't just leave them open for like 6 months. It's open for a month and then or 2 months and then that's it. We're seeing smaller buys. We're seeing more boards run by more people in smaller quantities. So everything's having like 50, 100, but they're running through things like Canon Keys, through Dixie Mech, through Project Keyboard. I think what it does is it gives you a little bit more reassurance of it gives you a little bit more reassurance that issues aren't going to happen, and when things do go wrong, they're going to be a little bit more apt to tell you and to let you know what's going on.
Yep. So, closing thoughts, at least on this, is one: if you're a group buy runner, or if you wanting to be a group, try a private buy first. Understand that expenses pop up, numbers change, shipping changes, everything changes. A lot of 20 boards, 40 boards looks a lot bigger in your bedroom than it does in theory. Try it out. Try and get your bearings first. People want keyboards. If you think, just know, people want keyboards. If you went into, I know it's not technically secret private group buy, but if you went into like our Discord or Top Clack or Nathan Kim's or whatever, and you said, "Hey, I want to do I'm doing a private buy. Here's some pictures. Let me PM me if you have details. If you want more details, you will get people to fill those. As long as, I mean, especially if it's something that 60%, 70 or TKL 60%, 65%. Not something too crazy. People will get into it, and I would just heavily suggest do that first, because issues pop up and you don't want to run into a situation where you go, okay, if you do 20 and you go, oh, I could do 40 easy, boom, at least you didn't start with 40 and realize you couldn't do 40.
Yeah.
So, and then communicate.
And also get people to help you. Like, don't be afraid to ask for help. There are tons of people in this community that are willing to help out, that are willing to step in and just give you kind of a little bit of a guiding hand on like saying, hey, you should probably think about doing this instead. Maybe you should think about approaching it this way. There are a lot of people who spend a lot of time talking to these manufacturers in China. You have to understand that a lot of them, they don't speak English. Things get lost in translation. But
Mechanist does very cool stuff.
He does.
Just reach out. Most people, so I co-ran the group buy. I did more fulfillment side than placing orders, but I had a lot of help from Blind Assassin. Shout out. But I talked to Zap a lot. I talked to Drifting Bunny. I talked to Blind Assassin. I ran a lot of things by Osiris, just trying to make sure that everything is run correctly. You can talk to these people if you have questions about it. Reach out to me. I know Drifting Bunnies is happy to answer questions. I'm sure Zap is happy to answer. There's a lot of information that can be gained through like 10.
Yeah. It doesn't hurt to ask. Doesn't hurt to say, "Hey, can I get some help with this? I'm struggling here."
Mhm.
The worst that can happen is you just don't do anything. If you just don't
Yep.
say anything and then you mess it up, like, yeah.
So, if you guys have any questions for us, just hit the @Mex on deck, and we will happily answer them. If you have any other group buys you want us to quickly touch on before we pop off for the night, let us know.
I do want everyone in chat to do something real quick. Well, maybe we'll save that for Wednesday. But just want to let everyone know, come hang out with us Wednesday night. Actually, first come hang out with us tomorrow night because Chewy's gonna be building a board.
A Baka.
He's gonna be building a Baka again. He's gonna be
Not my
building his
Baka,
own
but
board.
another Baka.
Yeah, the namesake. He's gonna be building a Baka for one of the group by participants at 8 p.m. Central Time, and then be here Wednesday at 8 p.m. We will have 159 from Project Keyboard is going to be on the stream, hanging out, talking about Sirius, Kepler, Kendo, Bingsu, his trip to the manufacturer, Valkyrie, all of the stuff that he's been doing this past year. We are going to talk about it all. And then Thursday, Mr. Chewy's birthday. Well,
Oh, yeah.
he forgot.
I forgot it was my own birthday.
and Tingu. Yeah.
Richard Nixon, the state of Connecticut. Some good guys.
Yeah. So come out Wednesday. Wish Chewy a happy birthday, happy early birthday on Wednesday. But yeah, we're gonna be here all night, Wednesday night, starting at 8 p.m. Central Time.
Yep. Someone for looking to get into his first group buy. What should I stay away from? I would stay away from Geek Hack only run group buys. I would find yourself a reputable vendor, and by reputable, see if they have done group buys before. Ask around. Join our Discord. Just throw in a question. Hey, is this group buy? Would you suggest this? Do you think this is a scam or not? What do you think? Off the top of my head, ones I know you will be happy with stuff. Basically, anything Blind Assassin touches. He does a lot of stuff for the Key Company. I know if it's run through a reputable vendor such as Dixie or Novel Keys or Project Keyboards or the Canon Keys, you know you're going to get stuff great, some great stuff. So yeah, just those would be my first suggestions, but definitely hop in the Discord.
Yeah, and again, anything run by Heine is definitely top notch. Hi Heine, how you doing, my dude? Sure do love you. But no, look at their history. See if they've run other things too. Like if it's something that's not what you just mentioned. Like another one is like Fox Lab. They kind of do their own thing. Their boards are pretty fairly priced. A lot of options. You can get a lot of different colors. So check that out. TX, they haven't really run anything in a while, but Gray Studio is fairly solid. So there's a lot of big names. Just take advantage of Discord, take advantage of the different content creators that are out there and the communities that they've built, and ask questions.
Yeah, Gray Studio, another one. One blue guy. By all means, ask away. There are no stupid questions, and if you about to get real, if someone like legitimately is giving you crap for asking a stupid question, PM me, tell me exactly where it was, and I will talk to them. Because there are no stupid questions in the Discord. We want to try and grow the community, and yes, Nebulant, we will beat them. Like, because if you go in and just say, "Hey, is this a good group buy?" that's not a dumb question.
Yeah.
So just
We've all been there.
by all means, we've all been there. And the thing you can do is to ask questions and get as much information as you can.
Especially like the people that have been in the community for a long time, there's a very solid chance that they've been scammed. Like there's a very solid chance that just about everyone who's been in the community for more than like 2.5, 3 years, that they've been screwed over on a group buy by someone.
Screwed over, or someone they know personally, or boards they were close to.
We understand.
Yes, we will happily, we will do. Hey, the links work.
Yeah, it's been
just
going.
in time for 5:30. So yeah, be sure to check us out. There's our Discord, our YouTube, which this video will be posted. Instagram, trying to grow that. Something I'm focusing on this year. Road to 1,000. We'll give away something if we get 1,000 Instagram followers. I don't know what. Ooh, we have that one thing. That thing we got a while back that we might do that. We might make an announcement.
Okay, sure. I don't know what you're talking about right now, but we'll talk about it later.
Why don't you? We're gonna set up a raid, and why don't you go through our sponsor?
Yeah, absolutely. So check out our sponsors. So you can go to switchmod.net/mexondeck.
Sorry, Pierre.
Hey, Fury, sorry about. Okay, first off, I want to say, how was the finish of the polycarbonate canoe? I was watching that before we started. I know it was Ona's board. How was it? Was it good? Those inks feeling nice and smooth.
Also, if you haven't, check out Apiary Keyboards. She streams
absolutely
the same days as we do, sometimes the same time. If you get 2 monitors, boom, throw them both up.
Yeah, watch us both. You can watch her build while you listen to us ramble. Talisman, thank you for the 1,000 bits. But back to the sponsors. Switchmod.net/mexondeck. Go get yourself some lube. They got 3203, 3204, and 205 grade 0. If you use that link, you get 4% off when you check out. You can also get in on GMK Metaverse V2. That's going to be starting later this month. I believe it starts the 18th, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
So check that out. And then up next, we've got Zap Cables. Go check out Zap Cables. They're redoing basically the entire way they operate. They're going to have things in stock, ready to purchase. They're going to do runs of pre-made cables rather than customs. You're still going to be able to do DIYs kits, so you can make your own cables. We have a video about that. Check it out. Also, check out his desk mats. He just released a new flash desk mat, which is pretty sweet. I know one of our guys on our Discord, Magic Gnome, he loves it. He posted a picture of it. It looks awesome. So if you're into tattoos, if you're into American traditional, check that out. And then last but not least, you can go to Dixie Mech. You can go to mexondeck.dixiemech.com. Pick up GMK Burgundy Round 3. It's an awesome set, and I was watching This Week in Keyboards by Huey, by Man of Interest today, and he put it perfectly. Every time I see pictures of Burgundy on a board, people always say, man, I wish I would have gotten in on that.
Yep. It's one of the few sets I regret getting rid of.
Exactly. So don't miss out. Pick it up, mexondeck.dixiemech.com.
Yep. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to raid Teja, and I have a request. All right. So for those who don't know, we are brewing up a bit of a CSGO rivalry between us and Teja. We're trying to get that going. So we're going to, what are we going to do?
Oh, Jack Statics coming in hot with a 6-month resub. Thank you.
Heck yeah, dude. Welcome to the Blue M Club.
The Blue.
So what should our like raid message be? Like
it should be MOD versus Teja
versus TT
versus
CSGO.
TT CS win. Or just here, I'll put it in the chat.
I typed it.
Okay, so if we can spam that in his chat. I think, well, he's already said he's down for it, but we want to make it happen. So
Blast it. Just go in. So thank you guys very much. Be sure to come tomorrow. Be sure to come tomorrow. Check out the Baka. It's going to be a linear build this time. So I think this will be the first linear build on a Baka in public. So yeah, one more time. Did I just unraid it? Yep,
you did.
I just.
It's okay.
There we go. All right, here we go. So one more time. Put that up there. I'm going to start the raid here in about 5 seconds. Thank you guys very much, and check out good old Teja.